Hey everyone, my name is Nick, aka the Brokefoot. I'm doing a video today. I'm just going to talk about what's on my desk. That's the title of the video, What's on My Desk 2022. And I just wanted to give you a tour of kind of what I'm going to be rocking through this year. I know that we're looking forward to particular devices coming out in the future, but I believe that I'm actually fairly set in terms of what I'll be using all year. And I know that sounds weird because the other ones haven't come out yet. You never know. But I'm pretty confident that the newest iPhones, the newest MacBook, the newest iPads, and all that jazz are going to be kind of this like the stoned landmark of what's to come, at least for another decade. Unless they just come out with this crazy like hologram emitting technology in one of their devices. I just don't really think that there's much more ground to break. You can only get so much better with your cameras. You can only get so much better with the chips. The M1 chips in the iPad Pro. They got the A15 Bionic in the iPad Mini. What else can you really do? Stick an M1 in the iPad Mini, but then why the iPad OS isn't offering the pro programs like Logic and all that jazz. So it just doesn't really seem necessary to upgrade at this point. I'm fairly comfortable with what I'm using now. I've not felt any issues with what I'm using, and to this day I feel no reason to think that I would need to upgrade in the near future. Even with leaked images of the iPhone 14s, I don't care. iPhone 13 Pro Max, beautiful device. I love the weight on it. I love the way it feels. The battery life is fantastic. The cameras are fantastic. The fact that you're offered this like pro studio level shooting on it is just great. With that being said, we'll go ahead and go into what's on my desk. But before I start talking about it, we'll talk about our first channel sponsor today, Ethernet to USB-C adapter. Now, a lot of our new devices, especially newer like MacBooks and stuff like that, they don't really have an Ethernet port anymore. I guess Apple, among other providers, have forgotten that we like to hardwire things because of a much faster connection. Wi-Fi is just inherently slower. So this is very, very convenient if you want to plug into, your iPad, your MacBook, any other USB-C device. So it works on Samsung phones. It works on the Samsung tablets. Anything that has a USB-C port, but for some reason does not provide an Ethernet port. No, there's no brand that's sponsoring me. It is just Ethernet to USB-C adapters as a whole. So thank you to USB-C to Ethernet adapters for sponsoring this video. So we'll go ahead and go into our first device. I am going to be talking first about the iPhone 13 mini. I am shooting this video on an iPhone 13 Pro Max, and that's why I'm not going to be showing you the iPhone 13 Pro Max, as I don't feel like swapping between the two to try to figure out how I'm going to show you things. So with that being said, the iPhone 13 mini is a very perfect device in terms of mobility, in terms of a powerhouse for what it is. The camera's fantastic. You're not offered the ProRAW, ProRes shooting on this like you are on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, but this does still offer cinematic mode, and the camera's just great. It really, a couple of the first videos I shot were actually on this, and I couldn't be happier with with the results. The weight of the device, it does still feel it feels very premium. It doesn't feel like a small cheap phone. It feels like you're getting what you paid for. This does start at like $699, I believe, $599, one of the two, depending on your configuration. But you can get a lot out of this. Definitely easy to slip into a pocket, a purse, whatever it is, however it is that you carry it on your phone. Put it on a case that's got a keychain on it and attached to that. If you're one of those people that's got, all kinds of knickknacks all over your keychain, you'll barely notice this is there. I love this phone. You're gonna get a lot of use out of it, and the only negative I think I have is that the battery life's not amazing. You could probably get a full day's worth without like super heavy usage, because obviously you're not going to just be sitting on the couch staring at your phone all day without plugging it in once or twice, right? But if you're out and about, I don't know how many people are such heavy phone users that this would die on them. But if you are one of those people, you could always get I don't have it on me currently, it's in my bag somewhere. You can always get you one of those Anker MagSafe power bricks that you can just, pop right onto the back of your phone, and it'll just give you some more battery if you need it. So yeah, iPhone 13 mini, fantastic phone. Our next channel sponsor is actually going to be in the form of Chocolate Candies. Again, no branding, just Chocolate Candies sent me an email saying, hey, we want to sponsor your content. We've seen your videos, we really liked that one that got, I think it was 4.5 million views in 2 days. Don't look it up. But it's true. And so Chocolate Candies just as a whole reached out and they want to sponsor this video. So I want to talk about Chocolate Candies for a second. We know they've been around for hundreds of years, probably longer than that. Again, don't research that. And they provided joy for families and all kinds of people. They taste amazing. If you're really just down on your luck, pick up a chocolate candy. Things might change. The gold wrapper itself, very valuable. This gold wrapper is worth hundreds of dollars in itself. So it's nuts to think that that's what they wrap the candy in, whomever this is and other companies that do it, because we all know it's real gold leaf. Same with all the silver wrappings, it's real silver leaf, right? They're here to provide wealth to everyone that enjoys just chocolate candies. So, ever get a chance, pick up chocolate candies. The next thing we'll be talking about is my Galaxy Z Fold 3. I have had this phone for roughly 5 or 6 months now. And this is fantastic, right? Because this is, I always keep an iOS device and an Android device on me. Now, what's really cool about this is, so I do keep the iPad mini on me. I carry it around in my bag. But if I want a tablet experience with Android versus iOS, this is the way to go. This is a beautiful form factor for enjoying, basic content. I have had this phone for a little while, like I said, and I've not had any issues with, stability, right? I've never experienced the screen starting to feel like it's, getting a little wonky. My hinge still feels premium as the first day that I got it. And nothing really beats that satisfying click whenever you're done browsing whatever it is you're browsing and you close your phone. So good. Before we move on, we'll go ahead and talk about the next sponsor. It is just books. Books provide hours and hours of entertainment. If you are more of an analog person, you're tired of staring at a screen all the time, books are here to provide entertainment to those who just don't need a motion picture in front of them at all times. Some books are small, some books are large, and I'm actually in preference of the larger books because they provide much more entertainment. Typically, there's a lot more world building to be had on there. And my MacBook soft died over here. But yeah, so books. Please pick one up at your local bookstore or they will close down. The iPad Pro 11-inch with the M1 chip in it. This is a fantastic device. Now, this is going to sound nuts, okay? I do have the MacBook Pro 2021. I do have the iPad Mini 6. I do have the iPad Pro 11-inch. Now, this is my backup to my iPad Mini. My iPad Mini is my backup to my MacBook. Typically, if I'm not using the MacBook, I swap and start using the iPad Mini. If I'm not using the iPad Mini, I'll swap and start using this. There's a couple of circumstances that bring me to this over the Mini. If my Mini's charging. If my Mini, I've already used it for a good minute now, I'll have it charged up and I'm swapping over to this. My second reason I would use this over the Mini is if I want a laptop experience without the heavy bulkiness, well, if that's even a proper way to put that, of my MacBook. I like to keep my MacBook on my desk because I have plenty of things wired into it that it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to take it off and on and off and on, to lug it around, when I could just take my iPad Pro here. It's got the Magic Keyboard, which is a fantastic keyboard. It's, I got that nice floatiness to it, feels good, very ergonomic experience. And this thing is powerful. It's the M1 chip, right? So you can, it handles my video editing and stuff like that pretty nicely and very smoothly. I have edited at least one video on here to test that out. It was very nice. I also used this as a very portable way of playing certain games. So the Xbox Cloud Gaming and the Stadia app are on here for if I just want to, lay down bedside. I can hardwire one of our channel sponsors, the Ethernet to USB-C adapter. Remember that guy? Yeah. Hardwire an Ethernet port directly in, so I've got the smoothest connection possible. Next thing you know, I've got a gamepad hooked up to this with Bluetooth, and I'm playing Halo. That's fucking awesome, right? Yes? So yeah, the iPad Pro 11-inch with the M1 chip. Highly recommend this device. And if I'm going to be honest with you, if you already have a MacBook, maybe don't get this. If you already have an iPad Mini, maybe don't get this. I just really love tech, and so I have a lot of variations of things so I can get the all-around experience. And that's what enables me to be able to make a video talking about these things. Next up, I will talk about the iPad Mini 6 now. This is my favorite device I have. I mean, just out of all the things, this may not be the big powerhouse out of all of my devices, but holy crap, is this not like just a pleasant experience all around. It's a beautiful form factor, perfect size for consuming content. It's a great handheld for playing games. If I load up League of Legends Wild Rift, I can show you that, you know, it doesn't feel uncomfortable to hold while playing. Whenever you're using, or I use my MacBook Pro to play certain games, Final Fantasy 14 Online and League of Legends, and that's a very, you know, it's a good experience, but being able to just pull this out real fast to play a few rounds of League where it's like, this feels nice. It may, you know, however it may look visually, I promise you, this is not too much different than just holding a gamepad. It's barely bigger, and it feels good. So, and then not to mention with that A15 Bionic in here, it runs these games smoothly, flawlessly. Like there's no hiccups. It runs them like it's some pro gaming device. So highly recommend. I do have the cloud gaming app and the Stadia app on here. That's for if I want to play some more like touch control games through those apps that, you know, offer an easier experience. But otherwise, I mean, I take this everywhere. This literally is my favorite device. This goes with me everywhere. I take it to work. I take it out whenever I'm just going to the grocery store, because you can write lists on this thing. You bust out the Notably app, and or Notability, my bad, Notability app. You can make lists and notes. I have a recipe list that I like to write. Let me get that focused in real fast. Hello, thank you. That, you know, if I go find a nice recipe, I'll write down a list, and whenever I go to the store, I can just pull this up and be like, okay, let me make sure I have my ginger root, my mint, whatever it is that I'm making the drink out of. So iPad Mini 6, highly recommended. If there's anything on this, you know, video that I would say definitely pick up today, this is gonna be it for sure. All the other things are awesome and fun and great, but this has been my favorite experience. Before I move on, we have a couple more things to cover. I will talk about another channel sponsor, Coasters. Coasters reached out to me recently. They noticed that in one of my videos, I had a drink sitting on Coasters, and they said, hey, please talk about that. We will pay you exuberant amounts of money to just talk about Coasters more focused, right? And bring this to the forefront of the video. And that's what we're gonna do today. Coasters provide that perfect barrier between your sweaty, wet drink glass and your perfectly clean, non-stained desk, table, whatever it is. Coasters are very mobile, so if you need to take this from one room to the other, you can just pick it up and carry. No reason to buy multiple packs of coasters to have in each room. Just take this one around, and next thing you know, you've got drink support. So, and they come with these, you know, a lot of coasters have the little rubberized feet so it doesn't damage your table while you're sliding it around. Coasters. A couple more things we'll go over. The Ember mug. If you don't have an Ember mug, on the surface, this probably isn't gonna excite you just from a description, but the Ember mug is, you know, definitely in the tech world of things to have around. This mug, you can pair your phone to it, and right away that sounds annoying, right? Why should I have to pair my phone to my mug? Well, here's why. This mug runs electronically, and it keeps your drink hot. It keeps it hot, not just warm, it keeps it hot. And you can adjust the temperature anywhere between 120 degrees and I believe 145 degrees. And you can do all that within the app. And they have presets in the app that if you know, whenever you put your drink in your mug and you set it down, you go into your app, it'll load up the presets, and you say, let's say you have hot tea in there. Click on that, it'll be a hotter temp. Coffee, just a little bit lower, but still nice and warm. I like to keep my drinks at 135 degrees. It's that perfect hotness that's not too hot that it's burning you when you're drinking it, but it still stays like it's fresh off the pot. This does work independently from its charging dock, but if you need to carry it around, or I'm sorry, if you are running low on battery but you still have a drink in there, you can just set it on there and it'll still keep your drink hot whilst charging, which is really great. The next item is going to be actually what you see here. It's attached to these light bars that are behind my monitor. It is a screen adaptive RGB setup, right? They're light bars that the camera reads the colors on the screen and it does its best to project what's being shown to the back just based on a color profile. So let me load up Discord here. And immediately whenever Discord loads up in its bigger size, you'll see that the background will not be red anymore. It's going based on all the reds, so it's become a purple blue color. because that's what Discord kind of, that's how it reads its blacks and some of its colors. The blacks will show up as like purples and blues, and then oranges, and this like color combination clearly just kind of projects as like a reddish color, but it's still thematic. And whenever watching certain videos and playing certain games, these things are really cool. So let me float up. I'm gonna mute it because I don't want to get copyright struck, but I'm gonna load up the Marvel logo thing that plays. The Marvel logo intro. So let me mute this real fast, and you're gonna see what I mean. So not as, you know, flashy, just because the lights are on, so it's a little harder to tell. But I think it's really fantastic. So I'm gonna start this over. Let me go turn off the lights real fast. You see that? That is so cool. And they do have two separate light bars that work independently from each other, so you get as accurate a color depiction as possible. Is it perfect? No. Is it really cool and adds a lot of ambiance to your setup? Hell yeah. Alright, thank you Marvel for guest starring in this video. You're not a sponsor, so I can't talk about you in depth. I do have the Sony XM4 1000s. I use those occasionally whenever I'm doing more focus to gaming and I don't want everyone around me to hear. Those are really great. They have a great sound stage, great bass. I highly recommend those. I do have Pebble speakers that I just got on Amazon. You can't even see them because they're being covered up by the 100,000 screens going on here. My Sennheiser HD 560s, again, sound staging on these are great. These are going to be more analog. They don't offer Bluetooth. They're hardwired. I don't have the wire plugged in at this moment, but still recommend these. I have the Yeti microphone. It's the Nano. And then our last channel sponsor is going to be Plants. Plants have been a sponsor of the channel for 10 years now, I believe. They showed up in my very first video. And unfortunately, those videos aren't up anymore. That's why you can't find them. But Plants, you know, they offer oxygen. They offer great ambience. They have chill vibes, and plants just make you happy whenever you stare at them, right? So, Plants, go pick one up today. That's really it. I don't really have anything else that I feel is really worth talking about on the desk. The desk itself, it's a cheap $80 desk from Amazon, so really don't inquire too hard on that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Definitely, you know, subscribe to the video, like the video, comment. You know, it's those little things that are going to throw me out on the radar for the YouTube algorithm to kind of, you know, put me out there. And, you know, if you are into tech, if you have friends that are into tech, definitely let me know in the comments. Tell me what their favorite accessories or devices are. And just don't mention that there were so many channel sponsors today, because I know that gets really annoying, and it's, you know, it really throws off the vibe of the video when you're watching your favorite YouTuber talk about technology and suddenly they just throw in, you know, a sponsor out of nowhere, and you're like, what happened? What, you were so authentic for a second there. But I try and say as authentic as possible. That's why I only accepted sponsors of just the overall product and not any particular brand. It's just who I am. So yep, this has been Nick, aka the Brokefoot. Definitely come back and see me in the next video where I take a guitar and I slam it over my head. Thanks. Bye.